Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Critic Corp. Jordy. Today we're going to be talking about The Last of Us, episode 7. But as always, first I want to get to my lovely co-host. We got Malcolm.
What's up? What's up?
And we got Jordy.
Sit and spin.
And we got Milo being a twat. Anyways, this episode of The Last of Us, episode 7. I have to say, it's my all-time least favorite episode.
Ooh, of TV?
Of this season.
Oh, okay.
Only because, like, everything they already told us. So we already knew she was going to get bit in the mall.
Yes.
We already knew she went to a Fedra school.
Okay.
So, like, this was really just long overdue just to find her at the end, get needle and thread to save Joel, which we knew was going to happen also.
Yeah, it was drastically, dreaded out, but it was needed still. Yeah, they should have did this earlier in the season, but it was needed still. I feel
we lost him, I think.
He froze.
Oh yeah.
That's a hard freeze too.
That was a hard freeze.
If Ellie's gonna it was a perfect because Ellie had to make that decision if she wanted to fucking leave Joel or be a badass and save his ass and fucking they had to show how she became that way.
Yeah, but like, think about back in the earlier of the season, we had a 45-minute episode. Like, why give this episode a whole entire hour when you could have summed down this story shorter? Especially since we're only going to have 9 episodes this season. That's the only thing I'm having like an issue with right now is we're doing this look back a little late and we spent too much time on it for shit we already knew. Like, if they would have showed what happened after they got bit and how she ran into Marlene, I think it would have been a little bit better, but...
My whole thing with that is I feel like they are setting something up with Ellie and Riley. Because of them not showing how that ended and us not having played the game, so we don't know what happened. But so you guys please tell me if Riley dies or actually don't tell us, but also don't think we're idiots if I say that she's alive and this turns out to be completely wrong. But I feel like they're almost setting something up because they did cut it off like right at the end before either of them would have started
before they turned.
But at the same time, like the fact that Ellie walked away and didn't really say anything about Riley. I don't know if she left her at some point.
I think she killed her. Because she remember she said it's not the first time she killed somebody when she told Joel.
Oh yeah.
So I think that was her first kill.
Oh, they're saving that for one of the last episodes then.
I know, but like, and then that's where it leads to it just being predictable too. Like, I didn't play the game and I can predict it.
It's either that or she just wasn't there. She tried to save her after she realized she never got infected.
I don't think Ellie knew she was immune until like she met up with Marlene and them.
She met up with Marlene, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, it was needed. It was just like the fucking Bill and Frank shit, bro. It was needed,
bro, the Bill and Frank stuff was way like.
I thought this was really well done.
If you were going to try to mimic what you just did with Bill and Frank earlier, why do we need it twice in the season? All right, that's my whole argument.
Bill and Frank, they got a little bit more. Bill and Frank, they got a little bit more in depth, but
Ellie, I think that was a much better episode, and we saw how we saw things that we didn't know. That's what I liked about it. We saw how Bill and Frank met Joel and Tess, and how like they ended up going back and he gave Joel all the codes and shit to like live there and get all the supplies.
But this is also giving crucial backstory to Ellie.
But how crucial was it? Because she already told us those four main facts. She killed somebody already. She got bit. She got bit in the mall, and she went to Fedra school.
I mean, show don't tell. Like,
Monsieur, they gotta
you
show
don't
it.
know how much it affects somebody until they actually show it and show the effects that it had on said person. Like, I thought Bella Ramsey's performance in this one was great. Like, when she reacted to herself getting bitten, that was a really emotional scene.
No, I agree. That part was
By the
good.
way, my girlfriend hasn't watched the episode, so I'm trying to avoid spoilers, sir. So, like, when I'm talking about things that are spoilerish, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, like I said though, the episode itself, it still meant something because, like I said, it showed what Ellie went through and was she going to do that shit again. I mean, yeah, Joel didn't get fucking bit, but she probably had to leave Riley. It was probably a situation she had to leave Riley.
I think she had to kill her in the end. They probably stayed together until they were both infected.
Yeah, because neither one of them could go back to their fucking base.
Yeah, like Riley couldn't go back to the Fireflies.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that this episode could have been cut shorter. Like Bella Ramsey, yeah, she did great. She killed it, but for what we got out of this episode, it doesn't seem like it was enough, especially going into next week with how that's predicted to go. I think I just would have rather had it play half of this episode and like lead into next episode already.
I feel like they could have at least did a good. They could have did like 40, 35 minutes of Ellie's backstory, and then the last 20 to 25 minutes of you know, her after the saving Joel effect and fucking going out to hunt for food for them and getting caught up by those random dudes or whatever. But yeah, because they only got what 2 more episodes, so this shit better not be like no Lord of the Rings shit when they just try to cram and rush everything at the end.
That's what I feel like they're doing with putting this flashback so far into the end. Like, I get having all the flashbacks earlier on in the series, but we're in the final set. I want to see what's actually fucking going on with them. I don't want to keep flashing back at this point. Like, I almost wish since we've been doing flashbacks almost every episode.
We haven't had a flashback in quite a few episodes, actually.
Yeah, there's only been one episode that had a flashback.
Well, the first episode, like, the first episode was the second
that was a time.
That was a time jump, not a flashback.
All right, time jumps or flashbacks, either or. I think like we should have got some of those out earlier, or like this little experience.
I think it would have been too much. I think it would have been too much too early. I think the reasoning for this is so that way you still have that 2-episode climax. I think this was the right spot to put it because now with Joel being injured like how he was in the game, that is a perfect time to actually fit this in, like this part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I just felt bored during this. I remember me and Malcolm, we were watching it here, and I called how it was going to end when the shit started.
I mean, is every Marvel movie not predictable? Oh, bad guy is going to get beaten by the good guy.
No, and I totally get that, but I'm like talking about we never saw like the game or anything.
That doesn't make them less great. Yeah, it's not. It's predictable, but it's about
the whole entire time they were in the mall. Though, weren't you just waiting for her to get bit?
I mean, we were expecting it, obviously, but I was more interested in like the dynamic between her and Riley and learning a little bit more about her because she was talking about back in episode 2, I believe, about Mortal Kombat 2 and her friend knew how to play it. She didn't mention her knowing how to play it. And
I
it's a
feel like
lot of callbacks because you also what's her name gets brought up in this by the Fireflies.
Marlene.
Marlene, because she's the one that recruited Riley.
Mhm.
I did like that aspect. That was probably one of like the few things in this that we actually learned that was new.
But it also makes sense because you can tell at the beginning there's some sort of rapport between Marlene and her.
I also I feel like Riley knew about that damn fucking flicker or whatever you want to call him, infected.
Oh, the infected guy.
Yeah, but she just didn't, she ain't make enough noise herself, being there by alone to trigger it.
Well, I don't think she would have known at that point. I think it was more just
She was expecting anybody else that came through was a hostile.
She just said, "Get ready to run." Like she knew that she was there, but
Well, shit, if Fedra caught them too, they would have gotten in trouble. So, like, even if it was Fedra that came after them, like, they would have had to book it.
yeah.
Because, like, Fedra, if you don't obey the rules, they just fucking hang you.
Very true.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty straight to the point. Like, follow our rules, we'll hang you. All right. We ain't even going to waste a bullet.
You want to know why? Because that bullet costs 1 English sterling pound. For those who don't know, that's an RRR callback. Zinger.
Not to, boy.
Oh, it's winning the Oscars. Best pick, or not best picture. Best picture goes to Not To. Just the song from RRR.
Back to The Last of Us, though, guys.
Bolly. He's gonna shot that out right there.
I just think that with the progression of how the show has been, especially after last,
Shit.
I was looking for more. He's frozen.
I'm gonna mute him until he's unfrozen.
It works for me. But yeah, I don't know. I just expected a little bit more coming out of this, aside from like her saying, "Oh, we're gonna like help save Joel."
Wait, what was that? Sorry, I was.
Oh, I was just saying I expected more out of it other than like her going in and like getting needle and thread at the end. I wish we got something more because we knew that was already going to happen. Like, she wasn't going to leave him. She can't fucking survive by herself.
Well, the thing about this show is it's not really, if you can't tell, it's not so much about like the big things happening, the big action happening. This one's more about the relationships with people after the world's gone to shit. Like, that's what this entire season has been about. The relationship between Bill and Frank, the relationship between Ellie and Joel, the relationship between Riley and Ellie, the different relationships that everybody is making at this point. Even Tommy with his new wife that they have.
Fuck Maria.
And it's just all about like the actual humanity in these people. Like, how do you continue on with humanity after the world has ended? And this episode actually is justification of that, with the fact that Ellie has never experienced playing video games. She's in this arcade for the first time, seeing all these glowing lights in a world that's very dark. Like, she's getting to experience playing Mortal Kombat 2, which a lot of us are just like, it's Mortal Kombat 2, but this is a girl that has never grown up in a world like that. I thought this brought a lot more humanity and character to Ellie. And with that relationship between her and Riley, you can just tell that's something that haunts Ellie. And when you go back and rewatch it, it's gonna retroactively make more sense with some of her reactions.
I guess so, but I don't know. At the same sense, I don't see like if you put this episode up next to the Bill and Frank episode for how you're gonna like relationship wise,
that's trying to compare to probably one of the best episodes of television in the past 3 to 5 years. that Bill and Frank episode is it could be a short film in and of itself. And it could be just like one of the best short films of the year or something.
And that's what I'm saying,
That
though. It just
was-
seems like they tried to mimic it. And after I got that
Yeah.
Bill and Frank effect, I didn't feel as attached to this. Now, that could be different for other people. But for me, I had zero emotional attachment to Riley. I was literally just waiting for them to both get bits. That way the show could end.
See, I think very differently. I thought that this was a very different kind of episode. This is more giving background to Ellie and the things that she's hinted at prior to. And it actually, because we've gotten so much time with Joel so far, like the first episode is an hour and a half of Joel.
Yeah.
And Ellie is obviously the other main character in this, which is going to become a like equal main characters in this. Like it's not the Joel featuring Ellie or Ellie featuring Joel, like they're equal counterparts, right? So getting this little bit of backstory behind her, because obviously we're not going to see her story about where she was at the beginning of the apocalypse because she didn't see that. So this
Yeah,
is
she was born into the apocalypse. So was she like, that's the only thing I wish we kind of saw though, is like, how did Ellie and all those kids like end up in federal school? Because some of them, like Riley, had a family before, but she didn't have a family. So was she just like an orphan, or like all the orphans just got rounded up into federal school, or what?
Well, yeah, because it was a lot easier to oppress people when they didn't have anybody linked to a family member who was also being oppressed. So they weren't really linked or anything like that.
No, take them while they're young. Take them while they're young.
I mean,
boy.
the same thing was done in
Went
Star
through
Wars,
the-
even where they would take children from planets. This was also done in Halo. Take children from
So long, young Jedi.
Yeah. Take children from different planets as stormtroopers and or Spartans in Halo. So it's not unheard of in fiction.
No, but
This is
I was
crazy.
just
to see it
curious.
in
Like, if
real
they were
life.
going to show more, I would have liked to seen how like she ended up with Marlene. Now we'll probably see that like in the end, like you said, Jordy.
That's what I
But-
was gonna say. I think this
We'll
is
probably-
setting us
probably
up
see that next
for
season.
something in either the penultimate episode or the season finale.
Is there going to be more seasons, or is it just a one and done for this?
No, there's gonna be another season at least. I think
Yeah.
they said that the first season was gonna cover the first game, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's
Okay,
another game altogether.
alrighty.
But I don't know how, because with how many people are watching this, I can see them wanting to spread this story out across quite a few.
They have to do it properly, though. They can't just
Because
like
this is competing with Game of
bomb
Thrones.
the story all over HBO Max.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do it like Walking Dead, but smart.
No
I
comment.
don't think this is comparable to Walking Dead. I'm sorry.
No
Bro,
comment.
This is head
I'm
and
not gonna
shoulders
trigger joke
above
right now.
Walking
That's
Dead.
bad
I'm
day.
sorry.
No comment.
this is Walking Dead fucking offspring. Oh my heavens.
No comment. No comment. No comment. Anyways, moving forward.
I
man.
hate so much, bro. God, hey, let's get to this damn grade. I'm about to smoke my cigar.
All right, yeah, let's get to this grade. We've been going on.
I'd have to say this episode is like a C minus for me. Only because we've been spoiled with everything else throughout the rest of the season. Like, think about all the infected that we saw in the first like 4 or 5 episodes. Now, like, the only infected we saw in this episode was 1, and it was at the very end. So I do feel kind of spoiled, and like I'm waiting for more infected to show up because they play such a huge part in this world. I just would like to see more of them. So that's why this has got like a little bit lower for me, and the fact that it was predictable. Jordy?
So I actually really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was really touching. I thought it gave a lot more backstory to Ellie and made me care for her more as a character moving forward, knowing what she had lost. and talking about all that loss she had endured. She had this crush on this girl, and right as she makes a move on her, they both get bit. Like, how do you deal with something like that? Like, especially in that age when you think like your one crush is your love or whatever, and you're just like infatuated. And guess what? You get bit. You don't know what's gonna happen. You think you're gonna turn into these clicker things, and but it shows that loss. It shows the character growth, and we all know that she's gonna kill her. Especially after you pointed that out, I was just like, yeah, that's definitely what's gonna happen. But
She had her first kill
ultimately,
already.
it makes a really good character arc, and it tells us a lot more about Ellie, because to this point we know like surface level stuff about her.
Yeah, I accept your opinion, but
So I'm gonna go A minus.
oh, I don't accept your fucking grade. Jesus Christ, stop drinking for the day. Toke, on to you.
I'm kind of in between both of y'all. Yes, I agree with you, Eric. It was a pointless kind of episode. It could have been shortened, like by like 30 minutes or so. But again, I agree with Jordy too. It was needed, and it was important to put that in. This was like a perfect time slot to fit it in. If they were going to put it in somewhere, anywhere down, they would have put it anywhere down the timeline in the next season or next two episodes. It would have been dumb. But this was perfect, like I said, because fucking they had to show how Ellie, you know, how her thought process was. We got to see Ellie back then compared to what she is now. You know, she had more, you know, feeling, more like, you know, emotions and whatnot. Now she's just like that hard ass. Don't got no love for nobody. Pretty much, it's her. It's her against everybody. She finally found that, you know, compassion again with Joel. That's why she fucking turned up on him previous episode, because he was trying to leave her life, and the last person that left her life was the love of her life. So, you know, it's fucking. I'm 50-50, so I'm gonna go with like B minus.
That's an acceptable score. I will accept that, and thank you. Your opinion matters, Toke. That was a good one. Jordy, fucking trash. Get out of here with your high ass A minus. Anyways, you heard it here, folks. We got different scores. We got C minus, B minus, A minus. You tell us where you think it falls. This is another episode of the Critic Court. We're going to be back next week to review episode 8 of The Last of Us. So
Don't
please stay
forget the
tuned,
other
y'all.
episodes that we're dropping either tonight or this week. SAG Awards, possibly a Ted Lasso season 1 and 2 review.
And I'm doing an anime review on Wednesday.
We got another anime review on Wednesday. We are getting a little bit more consistent with this. So just hang in there with us and we will come through. Like we always say, like and subscribe. Have a good night, and God bless us, everyone.
Have a good one, y'all.